This video, I'm going to be breaking down the Kansas City Chiefs offense. If you guys want to check out my full ebook on this, it is in our school community. I'll put a link to that down in the description below. For just $10, you're going to get access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks for both Madden and for college football 25. And we're going to be taking a look at the Chiefs offensive playbook. Wanted to start with this under center. A couple nice things they have in their under center here. This wing tight left, nice little red zone kind of power running formation. What's nice about the Chiefs is they have wide zone duo and power in here, as well as the halfback dive. So a lot of really, really good options just in terms of the run. They also have this single back tight Y off flex, which is is probably the best under center running formation in the game. Have a lot of different options here. One of my favorite runs as well to have in here is either this counter or this halfback zone. So you can put that in there as well as if you want to, but I really like being able to audible down to wide zone. I like having a play action play just in case they're starting to run commit. But if I really want to run heavy, I'll throw the zone weak in here or potentially even the counter. That being said, the Chiefs also have a really nice little strong jumbo formation here where you can run power O, halfback dive, PA spot, and I like to come out in the fullback dive. Nice little red zone running formation. You also have pistol bunch tight end, which has some cool runs in it as well. Halfback counter, speed option. The jet touch pass is also a really good run. And then we kind of come into the shotgun formation. There's some nice little kind of glitchy formations here with different RPOs. But really what I wanted to focus on is the passing here. And kind of the best formations in this are the doubles Y off nasty. The tight Y off is okay. They have the tight end corner there and the 0-1 trap, which is a nice combination. You also have the normal Y off close, weak Y off trips nasty, which is probably one of the best little mini schemes you could possibly have. And here are my audibles for that. RPO flat, inside zone, dagger whip, PA double post. Has the bunch Y flex, which is kind of a nice little audible 2 formation. Has a really good bunch strong nasty and bunch X nasty, 2 of the better ones in the game. And then you also have this bunch spread nasty, which is what we're going to be focusing on in this video. Now, if you want to run the bunch spread nasty to its fullest potential, I would go ahead and make this your base formation in this offense. You can kind of set up your personnel however you want to, but this is a really, really good formation. And the play we're going to be breaking down first is, in my opinion, the reason why you run this formation. It is for these motion plays, motion mesh swing, motion deep over, as well as motion slot hitch. We'll take a look at motion mesh swing. So what makes this offense so good is that this bunch is a little bit more spread out than your standard bunch. And really the beauty of it is you're really going to be able to take advantage of any kind of cover 2 to the bunch side. So a lot of people like to run cover 2 to the bunch side this year. A lot of different ways to get to it. One of them is to utilize, just a standard kind of roll coverage like so. And this route right here is going to take advantage of it. It's this little fade route to either the slot receiver, or if you go to motion slot hitch, it's on the outside receiver. You just have to stem that route down. And basically what's going to happen here is this little fade. If you pair this with a little streak, you're going to have a lot of success. So what I like to do here is we'll put the outside bunch receiver on a corner route, stem him down 1. We'll leave the running back on this little in. And then with this backside guy, I like to just simply drag him across. And basically you got this little auto motion running back flat route that you can hit. But really the route against cover 2 that you want to hit is this deep fade to the outside receiver over there on the right-hand side. This fade is going to get over the top of pretty much any kind of cover 2. So any kind of cover 2 that they might want to run, this fade is going to get over the top. You do not have to leave this running back on the auto motion. You can go ahead and block him. The main reason we call the play is for this little fade. Here you're going to see, again, this is going to get over the top. I don't know what 23 is doing. I don't know if he had some kind of random match on a vert hook or what, but we'll show that one more time, and hopefully won't get shedded this time as well. But you just see, I mean, this just really breaks down pretty much any style of cover 2 they could possibly run. This little route is going to clear, as you see here again. I noticed the vert hook that time matched it, way later, and as you see, you're able to pop cover 2. Now, the other thing that you're able to do with this concept is, let's talk about a coverage that might look something like this. So one of the best ways to counter the fade is to put this guy on an outside third, have him about 10 yards-ish back, and then you can kind of run your standard defense if you're running the loop or whatever, it looks something like this. So while the outside third is a great adjustment for defending while the outside third is a great adjustment for defending the fade, your tight end seam streak, you're going to see right here, you're just going to basically be able to split that coverage. And a lot of times that could potentially be a one play touchdown, right up the middle of the defense, which is going to force them to have to take their user out of the middle of the field, which really nobody wants to do. They're going to have to switch stick onto this middle third to be able to defend that. And then what you're going to be able to do from there is you're going to be able to kind of play this check down game with them as well, because what you're going to see is this drag route coming over the middle of the field late is going to kind of really break down the cover two in a lot of different ways. So you'll see here again, cover two coverage, and we can just, if they do user that tight end streak, then we can just simply check down to our running back. Now, the other thing that's really cool about these fades is they are a great clear out. If your opponent says, I want to run a cover four base defense, then these fades are going to still be really good and really valuable to you. The reason they're going to be valuable to you is because what you're going to notice here is this fade is going to really do a nice job of clearing out the outside quarter out of the way, and I can consistently throw that corner route on the right-hand side against that outside quarter. And what happens a lot of time in Madden 25, because people aren't used to maybe playing a formation like this that has these really good fade routes, what's going to happen is they're going to switch stick onto the outside quarter, and then what's going to happen is you're going to be able to hit them over the top again with this outside player, because basically the quarter is going to play the corner route. And then because of that, what you're going to see is that this outside fade, I didn't have time in the pocket there, but the outside fade is going to, basically be able to counter the switch stick. So even if you're playing somebody that has a really, really good switch stick, they're still not going to be able to defend this play. If you're able to, and if they make a mistake, you're just going to hit this over the top for a one play score. So this is really one of the core pieces of the offense, and really why you run this is so that you can take advantage of people that like to switch stick to the bunch side. And what this does is it kind of opens up a whole another second layer of how to run bunch in Madden 25, where you're able to really stress that wide side of the field. And so there's, not a great way to defend this. Probably the best way and best thing that they can do is realistically to switch stick onto this flat defender right here. It's probably the safest way, because this is really going to make it so that they don't want to run cover two. So if they do start to kind of do that adjustment, a play like Z swirl in becomes really valuable. And we're just going to use this for a smash return setup. As you see here, we're just kind of using this little return route, and this is going to do a great job of kind of taking advantage of that switch from the flat defender. And again, because they're so concerned and they're not going to really be running a lot of cover. If you think about it, they're not going to run a lot of cover two, and most people send four in this year's game. Then what you're going to be able to do is you call a play like Z swirl in. Another setup that you can go to is this corner route to the slot receiver with a backside dig, something that looks like this. And what you're going to see here is, again, that flat defender might peel up to the corner, and then I'm able to, simply just take what the defense gives me to that simple little return route over the middle of the field. And then obviously, if you're getting, some type of pressure or whatever, they are going to also, maybe jump to this tight end backside drag over here on the right-hand side. And just for sake of illustration, I'm not going to go crazy with the blitz here. Best way to pick this up is just to slide, half slide to the left, and ID, I believe. But anywho, that's where you can start to kind of maybe run something like this play seam divide, where we're just going to use kind of a simple, cover two beating combination. But this also, you can throw this corner route kind of right in this little pocket and, put the ball where only your receiver can catch it. Another way to throw this as well is you can also put the tight end on the corner. So if you want to run the play seam divide, we'll put this tight end on a corner, one of the new hot routes this year. Now we have that slot receiver on that seam streak. This is going to perfectly space out, and this really takes advantage of any kind of loop blitz or disengage, because even if they do drop this defensive tackle in a vert hook, you're going to see he's going to really struggle to get out there. And then the flat has to go guard that out route. And so you're just going to be able to just simply throw this ball to the tight end before he gets to that flat defender in that little soft spot of the defense. So a lot of different ways in which we can attack a variety of coverages. A play like motion slot hitch allows us to now do that, maybe from a situation where we might want to run a play like that. And now what you're going to see with this play is, once again, if they try to run any kind of cover two, then this fade here on the outside is going to be really good at just being able to take the top off the defense. Going to be super hard for them to consistently play defense against that. As you can see, just really gets in a super soft spot against that cover four. So now what you're going to get a lot more of is you're going to get a lot more of cover three hard flat, cover four hard flat to that right hand side. And one of the best plays for attacking any kind of cover four defense to the right side, especially if they're going to be blitzing for, is the good old fashioned bench pivot combination that Clef made famous this year. I like to do this from the play motion slot hitch. All we're going to do is drag the tight end. We're going to drag or table the running back, zig this slot receiver, and then the outside receiver. You can do whatever you want. What I like to do is just put him on an out route and stem it all the way down. So you see it kind of looks like that. And basically what's going to happen is he's going to pull that flat defender, and you can just consistently throw this little flat route to the right-hand side in that soft spot of the defense. And so what they're going to do is, naturally, if you are, playing good offense, one of the defenses you will consistently get against an offense like this is just cover four engage, because the reason they're going to run the engage so much is they don't really have like another option, right? They don't really have another great coverage because they have to run cover four, but simultaneously, even though they have to run cover four, they don't want to run cover four because everything's open, right? So now what we're going to do is run a verticals type setup here on this left-hand side. And you can really do whatever you want with the running back. You could run the triple option route if you want to. I don't, whatever you really want to do with running back. The main thing is to put this outside receiver on a wheel, and you'll see he'll pull that flat defender, and then you can throw this tight end before that defensive tackle is ever able to kind of get out there. And this is going to be another way in which you can attack, what the defense wants to do. So this formation just has a plethora of options of route combinations. Another thing that we didn't really talk about yet that I did think was kind of important that I did want to mention here is this kind of a combination right here. Due to this wheel route, one of the interesting things that will happen with this wheel route, again, because so many people are running a defense that looks basically like this, then what you're going to get a lot is, even if these guys are in a better position, this inside quarter is going to basically go to the outside. So you see here, he'll take a step to the outside, and you can just essentially throw this to the middle of the field. This is a throw that you see, really, really good players make consistently, is when you're taking that yellow zone out of the field by blitzing him, then they're kind of relying on that quarter to be able to do that. And you can do the same thing from the play motion mesh swing. If you want to do something like this, watch this inside quarter. You'll see I can just freeform this to the inside. I'm going to click on an aggressive catch it. And, it's going to be very difficult for them to consistently get a KO on that left-hand side. Another defense that is really popular whenever you might face a formation like this would definitely be something that I would be using, is some type of cover two over here to this left-hand side. And if they're ever running, kind of like a cover two concept over here to the left, then what you want to do against that is you want to use the solo wide receiver wheel route to be able to take advantage of the defense. So one of the ways that I like to do that is we could go with, really doesn't matter the play. What I like to use is Z swirl in because I love this tight end drag. And then I'm just going to put a post, and I'm going to stem this down to the slot receiver. So this kind of looks, like smash return. And then what we're going to do on the left side is I'm going to block the running back, and then I'm going to wheel this solo wide receiver. And you see the play looks like this. And what you're going to see from this wheel route is it's going to turn up field, and that inside quarter is going to play that post, and then that wheel is able to attack that cover two on that solo wide receiver side. Now, let's just talk a little bit about what if they were to take this guy back and say, okay, we're going to put, just a true, cover two across the board. However, they basically want to get to it, but they're going to, basically run cover two coverage. How are we going to, plan to attack that? Maybe they man this guy up or whatever, but they're going to kind of be a hybrid cover two look. Well, what we're going to still look for is I want you to take a look at that deep half over there on the left-hand side in a combination like what I'm showing you here on your screen is really good, because you're going to see that this deep half is still going to kind of go to the post, and this is a throw you can make over the top because that deep half is getting kind of held by that left side post. Another play that we haven't covered yet out of the bunch strong or the bunch spread nasty is some of the other money plays built within the scheme. One of them being this play motion deep over. So the motion deep over setup, the reason why this is really good is because this crosser is going to run super, super fast and can do some really cool stuff for you, for your offense. It's kind of a situational play, but you saw how that deep half kind of was able to quasi recover out there. If you had a KO, that might be something. You're going to see with this crosser, you're really never going to be able to get there if you're in a cover two coverage on the left-hand side. So now you're going to see all we're going to do is just drag this tight end. We're going to wheel this outside receiver. And then what I like to do on the right-hand side, you can either leave this corner route or you can put him on a curl as, simply just a late read. If you want to put the running back on the motion, you can. You don't have to. But basically what you'll see is now that deep half really plays that crosser, and you see how open that, backside wheel route is on the left-hand side. So really does a good job of attacking any kind of deep half over there to the left side. Kind of another play that we haven't touched on yet that is really good out of this formation, because if you think about it, a lot of the resources that your opponent is going to use defensively is going to be kind of spent trying to defend the bunch side. So what I like to do is use a play like this to really attack this left-hand side. So if you think about it, a lot of people, they're going to go to a defense that basically looks something like this on the left-hand side, and then because you kind of have to play cover four to that right side because of some of the things we talked about earlier. So they're going to try to maybe be this like hook curl in the middle of the field, usering over in this area. And so because of that, what that does is it really opens up a play like cheat slot cross. This play is really simple. All you're going to do is just streak the solo wide receiver and then put the outside bunch receiver on a curl. It's a little bit of an auto motion play. And essentially this streak is going to kind of open up a lot of space, and you're just going to have a high-low. The high-low is between the crosser and the drag route, so a very simple high-low read. Another thing you can do with this crosser that not a lot of people know about is you can stem this crosser up to make this crosser run slightly deeper. So you're going to see now that crosser is going to run slightly deeper. And again, our first read, or really our main throw is probably going to be to that drag, just the way most people play defense in this game. But if they do kind of bite down on the drag, then you're going to see here that late this crosser will be able to get open over here on the sideline. So you see they jump the drag, then we can just simply, check down to the crosser. Now remember that a lot of people, another way that we can kind of use this is for this kind of way to attack this cover four coverage. Because again, this is something you're going to see over here on this left side. And a lot of times you're going to get a defensive look like that. Okay. So what we're able to do with this play is we're going to stem up the crosser by one. We're going to drag this underneath receiver, and then we're going to stem this tight end all the way down, and it's going to kind of basically turn it into a trail route. So what you're going to see is this tight end. Actually, I think I stemmed it down a little. I don't think you must not stem it down all the way. Let's try to stem it down, just not one. Oh man, I totally lost what I was saying. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to stem it all the way down except for the last one. So we'll stem up the crosser, drag this guy, we'll stem this guy down, but not all the way, because you see it goes lower than the line. We'll like kind of get it about right in there. So what you're going to see from this depth is it kind of creates like a trail technique, and look at this kind of just delay over the middle, nice little check down. Once they're committing to those crossers or the drag, then this route becomes good. Right? It is good if you stem it all the way down as well. It's just sometimes he runs a little too fast. Here, yeah, you see how he kind of runs like a little bit too fast there? It just kind of trails it, not like we would want. So anyway, that's an option that you can have over on the left-hand side for this play. Another thing you can do with this play that you might not realize is you can actually stem this in route all the way up as well. So you're going to see right here, I'm just going to reset the play, but basically I'm just going to stem the tight end all the way up. And what that's going to do is that's going to turn him into a streak. And then what I like to do with a play like this is just kind of a simple play. We're just going to flat the outside bunch receiver. We're going to outroute the slot receiver, and then we're going to stem him up twice. So it's like almost like a flood setup. And then on the backside, again, really up to you. I like a simple drag or simple in, just something laid over the middle of the field. And what you're going to see here is he's going to clear out, and you're going to see this little pocket develop for this little out route. And again, that out route can be as deep or as shallow as you want it to be. You know, even if you wanted to run like a corner route, I mean, you can do that as well. But I really like, you know, a stem up out route 2 to 3 times is probably what I would do. And you're going to see here that if I freeform this, this will be a little bit better. But it's just a nice route to be able to attack, you know, a different way that people might play defense. Another thing you could do is, let's say you want to attack, you know, maybe like a cover 2 on this right side. I'd be surprised if they did run cover 2, but let's just say hypothetically, you know, maybe they're running cover 2 because they think the tight end's on something or whatever. If they are running a cover 2 coverage, the other thing that you could do with this is, because he's going to be in motion when the ball snapped, you could run a setup like this and then use maybe the out route from the slot receiver with a backside drag like that. Because again, we're just doing this with our hot routes, but what you're going to see here is that this streak is going to run, you know, straight up the field. Can't quite freeform it to the sideline as much as I would like to, but that is another option, you know, that you have. So there's so many good plays in this. We haven't even gotten to the outside zone. This outside zone is really good against most defenses. As you see, it's just going to basically be like a wide zone or stretch type of run. The other thing about this that I wanted to suggest to you is, when you want to run the outside zone, make sure your running back's on the right side. If you didn't know, if you put your running back on the side that your quarterback throwing hand is on, you're going to get a much faster handoff animation, and it makes it a much better run play. So that's another thing that you have in here. Another little thing that you have in this offense that I think is actually kind of unique is, if you audible around within this scheme, you have a lot of really good formations kind of in the same hash mark. So, for example, you can go to bunch strong nasty and run this bunch smash play. Really simple play. Just put the tight end on a streak, and you're pretty much good to go. And as you see, that corner route is a short corner route, which gets in a great spot against most defenses. You also have, if you audible around here, you go to the bunch strong nasty, you could go to dagger, and guess what? Now we're in one of the best plays, you know, one of the best plays this year. Dagger, super simple, high-low read over the middle of the field with 2 streaks, really high-level play. And then also you have bunch X nasty. The cool part about bunch X nasty is it has, you know, a couple of different unique plays within it. One of them is this drive halfback under. We're just going to drag the tight end, post the slot receiver, stem him up twice, and then streak this guy. And I don't know if I have the coverage in here. I don't, but this is actually a cover 4 quarters beater over the top. And then you have a lot of check down reads over the middle. And then if they run cover 4 drop, this post, if you have time in the pocket, this post is going to be able to get over the top of the defense. So again, a very versatile type of audible. Another audible that I really like in this playbook is to audible over to the Y off trips nasty. We're just going to hop right into this RPO read flat. This is probably the best RPO in the game. It's super difficult for them to consistently be able to handle something like that. And then also the other thing that you have in this playbook is, if you audible down into this single back tight Y off flex, this wide zone run is so good against dollar. It's really good against pretty much any defense. There's not really a great way to stop this wide zone run. So again, if you want to make the game a little bit easy on yourself, audible down to this a couple times a drive, and you'll probably be surprised how well this run play is going to work. And the cool part is you can run it to either side. You can motion the tight end. See how he does like a little speed motion to the left, creates kind of a bunch look there. And then, you know, you're able to run the ball in that regard as well. So you have a lot of really good formations to audible to. One of the other formations that you have to audible to that I didn't mention is bunch Y flex. This is a really, really good formation because, as you see, they don't really move a ton. The tight end does flip, but they don't move that much. They're still kind of in the same vicinity. And what you can do with this outside receiver is you can put him on a speed out. So you could run a combination very simple like this. We know how good speed outs are in this year's game to hit against different coverages. You obviously don't want to necessarily run that against cover four, but if they're running a lot of cover two, this would be an audible that you might want to hit. Another audible that I think is really good against cover four, though, is, you're back in a smash return, but now maybe put a slant over here on the left side, and you'll kind of see how, this play really spaces out well. So there's just a lot of little micro audibles that are really good within this, because you're not wholesale. Like, it's pretty much bunch, but it's like four different versions of bunch. Another good play that I have not seen a lot of people talk about this year is something like this. I think this is a really, really good play this year out of verticals. And the reason why is because this high-low between the post and the drag, super simple, but really, really effective. Another great bunch play that you can run from here. This is kind of universal. You can run it from any bunch, but all you're going to do, you can do it completely out of your hot routes. Just corner route, stem him down one time, seam streak the slot, post the tight end, and then the backside drag. This is a really good play to be able to have. You could even run it out of the play action play that is in this formation. And I'm trying to think if there's any. Oh, there is one other. Yeah, this motion slot under. We didn't get to this play yet, but I did want to cover this. So one of the really cool things you can do, because so many people run a coverage like this on this left-hand side, if they're inside quartering you on the left side, this is a really, really good play. What I like to do for this is we're just going to post the tight end. I would recommend stemming him down one. And then on the left side, you can really do whatever you want. If you want a flat corner out, if you want a streak corner, if you want to drag, any of that stuff's fine. But really what you get here is this fade will destroy that inside quarter adjustment. As you see, that inside quarter is just not going to pay attention to that fade on the short side of the field, and you're able to attack the defense that way. Another thing I forgot to mention is, if you want to, another great motion strategy. Let's say we're using motion slot hitch. We're going to stem this guy down. What we're going to do with the running back is put him on a streak and then motion him to the outside. You have to take the auto motion off before you do that, but motion him out on a streak so it looks like this. And what we're able to do offensively here is we could just run a speed out to the running back. And then if we wanted to, we could do, kind of a super flood play over here to this right-hand side. Reason this is good is because it's super hard for them to cover everything that we're going to want to do over here to the right-hand side, especially if they're running a lot of cover two, right? This offense just flat out is really, really good against cover two coverages. The other thing that you can do, though, is you can speed out and stem him up to about 10-ish. You can stem him up to 10 yards. And now what you're going to see is we can maybe go with a combination, maybe like something like this or something like this, either way. But basically what's going to happen is that speed out is just going to get in a nice soft spot against a cover four hard flat type of coverage. So again, just another, really simple play that you have in here that you're able to take advantage of what they're doing. Another little underrated thing that I forgot to mention about this tight Y off flex is it does have a 0-1 trap. These are great little under center, quick hitting run plays. If the defensive line is giving you the look for it, you can hit that 0-1 trap and take advantage of the defense in that regard. And then as you also have this kind of backside post. Another thing about the running back motion out that's not a bad idea would be maybe something like this, where we're going to have kind of a high-low read over the middle of the field, but we have a lot of really, really nice clear out aspects to the play. So this offense is a really good version of bunch. There's just a lot of really, really cool stuff you could do with it. It's really good against the meta because it's really good against cover four and cover three. Another setup that we didn't quite get into too much is this motion out running back streak, kind of Durham-ish type setup. This is also a really, really good setup for just kind of attacking soft spots within the zone, high-lowing the yellow zone in the middle of the field, and being able to attack with that crosser. As far as man coverage goes, man coverage is not great this year. There's not a lot of great ways to play man coverage against this. Again, one of the other, just real underrated combos, I think, is some variation of, something like this right here, where we're able to attack, with a high-low read, and we have this really, really nice clear out on the right side that's going to clear out pretty much every deep zone they could possibly have. You've got to be able to take your drags in this offense, but if you're willing to do that, this is one of the best offenses in the game. It can attack so many different defenses, so many different ways people run defense this year. And yeah, if you guys want to check out more about this offense, you guys can check out our school community. It's only $10. It's going to get you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks for both college football and Madden. That link to sign up is in the description below.